Hello, dear friends. This is Jeannie from Metal Dollhouse Rescue. Welcome back to my workshop. Tonight we're going to finish up working on that Cohn 4-room ranch. So join me while we finish up on this beautiful house. Before we get started, let me give you an update on this adorable incubator cover that I shared with my last video. My friend has made several of these, and for a short time only, they are available for $7 plus shipping. If you would like one, just let me know in the comments. These handcrafted items are perfect for your Babyland nursery. All right, dear friends, this is actually Thanksgiving Day, and I'm going to see if I can possibly get this little house done this afternoon. We'll see. Now, I was looking at my videos from last night. First of all, the paint all looked good. It dried really nice, blended in. I found, as I went through and gave it a final look, I found a few other tiny spots. I just put a little dot of paint here and there. But when I was looking at the videos, I noticed that this roof does have a dip in it right here. And so I was going to try to hand straighten this up here, which I did try, but I think we can do a little better than that by using our hammer method to get this straight. So I've got my board out here. I'm probably going to lay it this way, and let me just show you that gap in there. See that gap right here by my thumb? That's where I'm going to hammer, and I'm going to hammer right on that rolled edge. I've got my rubber mallet here. It looks like it's metal, but it's rubber. I'm going to hammer that down flat. I'll start gentle, hit a little harder, and then we'll take a look at it and see how straight it is. That worked really well. So you can see here how much that narrowed that gap through here. And also there was a little dent on this end, and that one looks really good too. So I'm glad I caught that on that video. That's one good thing about doing these videos. Sometimes I catch things on there that I miss otherwise. Okay, now we're going to address that missing piece. As you recall, I've temporarily misplaced the triangle that goes in here. I have the one on this side, so I took a picture of this. In fact, I took pictures of everything last night, every surface. So those will be available if anybody needs a replacement part. Well, I already need a replacement part for this. I'm pretty sure this piece was identical, other than it was flipped. This roof is a little shorter on this side than this side. So the replacement has to go the other way. It's got to be short on this side. I'm not saying that quite right. But here's the picture I made, and I printed it out, and I forgot to flip that. So this will not fit on this side because it needs to be shorter on the left, and on my picture, it's shorter on the right. So I flipped that, reprinted it. Here's my right copy. See, now it's shorter here on the left than it is on the right. So this one should fit. However, I am going to cut one out of paper and do a paper fit to see if I'm doing the right thing. Okay, so this is the one that I printed wrong, but I cut it out and I'm laying it up here against the original part, and it is the right size for it matches the original, which is good. So now I need to make one. I'm going to cut one out of foam core board, cover it with my new picture that's printed the right way, and it will fit up in there like this. This roof will come down a little closer. I'll probably have to have this attached to the base in order to get that fit right, but I do think that's going to work. But let's go ahead and make that out of foam core board. I think I'll use this one as a pattern. Remember, I won't use this side because that's the wrong. I have to use this side. Trace it on my foam core board, which I've got right here, and then get that cut out, and then we can glue it on there, and then we'll put the house together and fit that in. Okay, this bottom edge here on the real piece is beveled from this line on down. So I think from that line down, I'm going to remove the top layer of this foam core board. And here you can see the original piece that's beveled there. So this must fit like down inside the house, and then this shows on the outside. So I'm going to take that top layer of foam core board off of here too. So I removed that top layer of paper, and then the foam, I just kind of chiseled it out of there. Then I took my copy and I folded it back right there, laid it on there, and then I squished that down tight so that this picture has that same fold on it, just like the original. Now I'm going to glue this on here, but first I want to warn you, when I make these copies at home, for some reason when I touch like that, I can smear the ink. Now when I have them done at Staples, they don't do that, which is why I almost prefer to have them done at Staples. But what I'll have to usually do is make an original at home, then take it to Staples and make copies, and then they don't do that. But you be careful if you get copies from me, make sure that ink doesn't smear as you fold it and press it and so on. And also, you know, even Staples, or if you print them at home, you could have that issue. Or even with Staples, it could accidentally do that. All right, I like to use a glue stick on this with not a lot of glue. If you get very much liquid glue on there, it can make your this is just on like I call it like brochure paper, almost like magazine paper. It is shiny, but it's not real heavy. I didn't need it heavy because I've already got the foam core board. So it's not very thick. So we're going to just use kind of a light bit of glue around the edge. I like this Elmer's glue stick. I feel like it works better than some of the cheaper ones I've tried. And I try to just glue kind of around the edge. And also I'm going to do it up here on this edge where there's just that paper. I'm going to do that edge really good. So this flat edge up here I did, as well as around the triangle. And we'll glue it on there. So far it looks really good. Okay, I feel like that is a good counterfeit piece. Now I know I've got that original somewhere. When I find it, I'll put it in there. But in the meantime, for today, we're going to use this faux replacement piece. Okay, I forgot to tell you, we're going to polish this up before we put it together. And then, guess what? It's going to be done. Here's my favorite polish. It's called New Finish. My husband recommended this to me. He uses it on cars, automotive things, and it works really well. You put it on, let it dry to a haze, like maybe like 5 minutes, not very long, and then turn around and just rub it off, and it'll look really nice. I rub it off with a microfiber cloth. This does not have a cleaner in it, so it should not damage your finish. I've used it many times and I had a problem. You might do a test sample, or of course use at your own risk. As far as I can tell, it does not do any harm. Alright, it's all polished and wiped off, but I have got a new tool I haven't showed you. I've actually got 2 new tools, and I learned about this from one of our friends in our Dollhouse group, and she shared with us a gentleman named Willie Dom that has some YouTube videos about fixing old tin toys, and he showed 2 tools that he uses, and so I got on Amazon and got some bought. One is a little hammer. It's got a nylon end on one side, the side's metal. It's got a nice little weight to it. He uses it for small repairs, small bends, and these are called, I think he called them blunt nose pliers, and I usually use needle nose, but these are flat and they don't have any lines or grooves in here to help prevent from damaging paint. And he said you might put masking tape on those also to help to not scratch your toys. So I have got a pair of those and I've used those several times. But as I was cleaning that wax off, I saw a couple of little dimples down here. And so I got my board out, my new little hammer, and I hammered specifically on those little dimples, and this gives a very targeted opportunity to hammer some of those little dimples and tiny dents out. So a couple of new things. I'll put his name up here if you want to check him out on YouTube. He's an elderly gentleman. I don't think he's currently making videos, but the ones that are out there were very interesting and informative on fixing old tin toys. Okay, I've got these pieces as clean and as repaired as I can. I'm going to put these together. I'm going to start by putting this base onto this back onto the base, and then we'll put the walls in. Now, I'm going to try not to scratch, because that one big scratch that was on here was from this tab here sliding around. So I'm going to try not to do that. And also remember, I think I shared on some of my recent videos, I'm not going to bend all these tabs down. I'm looking, someday I'm going to have to downsize. This little house might have to come apart and get shipped. So I'm only going to do like 1 or 2 tabs here, maybe 1 on each side. I'm just going to do the minimum amount of tabs to hold this together. I'll start at one edge, work my way down, see how it goes. Okay, we're just about through. Now these walls, I've heard of this, but it's the first time I've had a house like this. These walls do not hook up into the roof up here, so they're a little bit wobbly. So I have fashioned one of these bars, like sometimes some of the houses have them in the bathroom, and it goes up here at the top of these walls. Well, I measured down here at the base of the wall from here to here, and I have made this brace to go on the top of those walls. So I'm going to stick that into the rolled part here on the front and keep those walls from flopping like it just did. That has worked well. Those walls are not nearly as floppy as they were. Now, when I got this house, when I first took it out of the box, it like fell apart in my hands. Now I can kind of see why. I did not tighten down all the tabs. I tightened down more than I really wanted to, but in order to keep the house stable, I had to tighten down a few more than I wanted. They are not all tightened. Now, here's my little fake piece that I made, and it looks good, and it fits up in here pretty good. I do have one issue, but I'm going to correct it. So here it is. It looks pretty good. It's not bad considering it's made out of just a print. But this front of the house, because there's nothing to attach it to now, wants to flip up and down. So I have got a little piece of wire, and I'm going to run a wire from this hole up here down to, there is a metal tab right here behind my finger. I'm going to run it around there to hold that roof down until I find that correct piece. All right, dear friends, I am going to call that a success. I ran that wire from the one tab that was right down in here up through the 2 holes here in the roof. This was where the tab was supposed to go, and then the tab over here, the hole that holds the chimney in. And so you can see the little wire there. Maybe you can't see it right there, but the chimney does cover it up. So let's set the chimney on there. Now, I'm not going to bend this down, the tabs on the chimney. I just like to set them on there for looks, because it makes them taller on the shelf, and so sometimes I take those off. Usually I remove the chimney when I'm ready to display the house because of the height of it. Now, the only thing I'm still going to do is I think I'm going to run some Mod Podge up here along this gray edge. I don't always do that, but when it's a front edge that might get touched or nicked or scraped or something, I do think I'll do that just for protection. Otherwise, I think it's done. Now, some people use, I always thought I'd use 124 size furniture in this, but I have seen some of my Facebook Dollhouse friends use 116 or 118 scale, which looks really cute in there. So I'm not sure which I'll use, but I'll probably take this downstairs and do a video in a little bit better light so you can see it front and back. But it looks really, really good. This was a pleasure to work on. I'm glad you joined me on this journey. As always, you've got a friend here in Iowa and a lot of friends in our Facebook group, so I hope you'll join us. And remember to subscribe to my channel. That helps us show YouTube how much fun we're having with our hobby. Thank you very much, and I hope you had a lovely Thanksgiving.